Hey house guests, welcome to today's Celebrity Big Brother 2 updates and spoilers. Our house guests of the day, we've got Barbara Richards, Catherine Benton, Chris Erickson, and Krista Patton. Thank you guys so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we really appreciate it. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so yesterday when we left off, they had just had the power veto ceremony, and just to review, Kato used the power veto on Tom, and then Ryan put up Joey in his place with his permission. And that means that we've got Jonathan versus Kandi versus Joey up on the block. So, after the ceremony was over, Tom assures Kandi it's going to be okay because she's worried that this whole thing with Tamar is going to be causing some issues for her. She feels that Tamar is trying to bring all the other girls into their personal issues, and she's going to make it a game thing, and it's going to get her voted out. But Tom says, no, none of that matters. Right now we got to focus on taking out the big physical threats, and no offense, but you ain't it. So just stay positive, try to make things work with Tamar, know that, like, I'm in your corner. Aww. Alright, meanwhile, Ricky lets Lolo know that Ryan was considering putting her up yet again, which is true. And he says that would have been really bad because we would not have the numbers anymore to do what we want to do, and that is to take out Jonathan. So Ricky says, don't worry, you know, I put in the work with Ryan. Obviously it worked because Joey went up and not Lolo, but he convinced him to put up Joey by telling him, oh yeah, if you put Joey up, the girls aren't going to realize that you're working with him. Classic. And it worked, of course. So Ricky still wants to take Jonathan out this week. They still have 5 votes to pull it off. So you got Ricky, Lolo, Natalie, and Tom and Kato. So that's 5. That's what they need because there are 7 people voting this week. So Lolo relays this information to Natalie, and Natalie's like, yeah, I believe Ricky. I think that this is true because everything that he's said so far has checked out. On the other hand, Ryan and Jonathan have been freaking turds to us. They have not included us in any of their decisions. Well, until now they started asking them, like, who should we put up? So they're not liking that. But in other news, they can't deal with Tamar's drama. Remember I said that Tamar was crying after the power veto ceremony when, like, nothing bad happened to her? So, yeah, they're getting really annoyed because the high emotion is really getting to them. The constant high emotion, it's keeping them from sleeping well. It's just exhausting to be around 24/7. Also, they're pissed that Tamar wants to vote for Kandi to go this week, and that's not what the rest of the group wants. And she doesn't care. She's just going to vote for Kandi to go anyway. Dang. Alright, so paranoia is really running throughout the house that Friday is going to be a double eviction. They think it's possible because there's 3 nominees up on the block, and they're like, that's never happened before. I mean, they're really showing that they've never watched this show before. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is going to be a double. We haven't heard anything about that yet. But then again, we didn't know that freaking Mooch was a fake-ass player either, so anything is possible. But I do think it's just going to be a regular eviction. So then Jonathan and Ryan were in the Chrysler bedroom, and thank you guys for giving me your suggestions for what we should call the bedrooms. Good ideas all around. So yeah, they were in the Chrysler bedroom, and Ryan's like, what if the girls set this up and, like, they take out 2 big fish? Because they're really worried now that it's going to be a double, and they've got Jonathan and Joey just sitting there up on the block. Ryan doesn't want to be all, I just ate nuts. Ryan doesn't want to be all alone if they both get evicted. So he's like, alright, if it's a double, we're probably in trouble, and it's the girl's fault. And if it's a single elimination, he thinks that the plan worked out perfectly, and Kandi is going to go. That's funny. So Jonathan and Ryan are planning on buttering up the girls, meaning Natalie, Lolo, and Tamar, and making sure that they still have them and still have their votes for Jonathan to stay and for Kandi to go. Nope. Alright, so then the 3 guys were in the gym, Ryan, Joey, and Jonathan. It seems like Joey has really become part of their group. And Ryan is like to them, I think I effed up. I think we've been tricked. You think? Yeah. So Joey's like, oh, don't feel bad. It doesn't matter. Just get out. Like, it's so obvious that Joey does not want to be there. Just leave. So Jonathan, he's worried, but he's not like Jonathan level worried, because he doesn't think it's going to be a double this week. Anthony already left, and he doesn't see them getting rid of 3 people in the first week. He's like, on the DL, like on the down low, I don't see how they would pay all of us so much money for so many of us to go in the first week. So he's like, no, I don't think so. And they're obviously trying to get rid of Candy this week, and Jonathan seems convinced that, like, the girls are going to stick with them and it's going to happen. Ugh. But he still wants to make sure it's a done deal. So Jonathan was campaigning to Ricky, and he's like, I think your vote is going to determine if I go home or not. Damn! First of all, you could not be more wrong. Second of all, that's a lot of pressure to put on someone. That's a lot. But Jonathan says, I want to be here for more than a week. Don't worry, you guys moved in last Wednesday, and the eviction's on Friday, so it's over a week. Obviously, he means he doesn't want to be the first one voted out. But he says to Ricky, if you don't evict me, you will be safe with me, Ryan, and Joey next week. And Ricky's like, are you sure you can vouch for the other guys? And Jonathan says, 100%. So y'all are working together. Could you make it any more obvious? Avril Lavigne. So, what if Ricky takes this deal and then votes out Joey? But I guess, like, the deal is for Ricky to vote out Candy, not Joey. So Ricky is like, okay, well, say I do vote the way that you want me to. What if somebody from the other group gets pissed, you know, and they win HOH and they nominate me? I need to hear from you that you guys will save me with the power of veto if you win. So Jonathan's like, okay, we didn't talk about that yet, but I will ask them and get back to you. I'm pretty sure that Ricky is just trying to get information here. I don't think he has any intention of actually keeping Jonathan, because he is campaigning hardcore and trying to get these votes together for Jonathan to go. So Jonathan reports back to Joey and Ryan they started out in the fashion bedroom, and then they're like, oh, okay, I gotta tell you. And, you know, they didn't want to be too loud, so they went to the Chrysler bedroom. And they're all freaking giddy because they think that this is working and they're gonna get Ricky's vote for Candy to go. And Joey's like, oh, it'd be such a great deal for Ricky because nobody has 3 people backing them yet. Like, not even us. We only have, you know, 2. Just because you don't have that doesn't mean that other people don't. There's a solid group of 5, 6-ish with Tamar on the outskirts there. But Jonathan is like, all right, well, he told me that he wants to hear that we'll all use the power of veto on him if one of us wins and he's on the block. And they're like, yeah, we're on board. It's all good. So Jonathan is excited about that, but at the same time, he's a little bit nervous because after he was done talking to Ricky, Ricky went straight to the girls. And granted, they share a bedroom. Like, he sleeps in the hotel bedroom with the girls. So maybe he was just going to his room, but, like, you know, they were talking about it. We didn't get to see this conversation on the feeds, but you know he was telling them. So Jonathan went ahead and sent Joey to break up any potential game talk. Ooh, okay, so then I mentioned earlier that Tamar was, like, bawling her eyes out after the power veto ceremony. Then she went to sleep for a few hours, but when she woke up from her slumber, it was time to campaign against Candy. So she was talking to Natalie, and she was like, all right, yes, I want Candy to go, but it's not personal. Come on, you know it is. You know it freaking is. But she's like, it's not good for our game to vote out Jonathan. That's what's good for Candy's game. We're getting set up here to take Jonathan out for her. No. But Natalie says, you need to look at it this way. Ryan and Jonathan would come after us. They don't like us anymore. We're not working with them anymore. True. So they need to be split up immediately. So then Ricky joins them later, and he tells them, I don't know if he told them earlier too and he's just reiterating it, but he tells them about the deal that Jonathan offered. Those three guys are working together. Joey, Jonathan, and Ryan. And he's trying to show them, like, look, this is what's happening here. And even with all this information and, again, telling them that Ryan put Joey up to try and convince the girls that he wasn't working with Joey. All this info. And Tamar is still like, I'm annoyed that Tom and Kato want Candy in the house. Will you stop it? Oh my god, you're seeing so many examples of Jonathan and Ryan not being trustworthy and like trying to come after your group, and you're still focused on trying to get rid of Candy. That's personal. Stop it. So then Tamar asks Ricky, I just scratched my face. Tamar asks Ricky, what were you talking about with Candy after the Power of Eo ceremony? And Ricky's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Tamar is claiming that Ricky was in a closed room with Candy and they were just chatting it up after the ceremony, and Ricky's like, that did not happen. Honestly, I don't know if it happened because I didn't see that on the feeds. I don't know if it was just off camera or if it didn't happen. But I don't see why he would lie about this. I think he would admit to it if he was talking to her. He doesn't seem like the type that would lie about something like that. And he seemed really genuine when he was saying, I was not in a room with her. I did not talk to her. So Ricky was getting really upset that Tamar was accusing him of lying. And then they were in the room together, and it was just like the most awkward silence for a very long time. Later, Tamar tells Lolo that Ricky is a liar. And I'm saying she was calling him a liar. Not a liar. Liar. Over and over and over again. Oh my god, why are you starting this? It's not even... Ugh. So she says that Ricky is trying to make it look like she's lying. And he's trying to use the fact that her and Candy don't like each other to get everybody else to doubt her. And then Lolo says, we're not doubting you. Well, you freaking should be, because this girl is losing it. She is cracking. So, yeah, Lolo checks in with Natalie, Eva Marie, and they're discussing, like, what do you think about this whole Tamar, Candy, now Ricky situation? What's going on here? And they realize, you know what? Even if Ricky does have some sort of thing going on with Candy, they don't care that much because they have bigger fish to fry. They cannot trust Ryan and Jonathan. So they don't care if Ricky's got something with her. So then later, Ricky and Tamar get into it again. Ricky just wants to talk Tamar through her star chart and tell her about her moon that's like an Aquarius or whatever. But they need to squash this first because they can't be doing that with bad energy between them. So he does not like that she's calling him a liar. And Tamar keeps insisting that Candy was in the room with Ricky. She saw it with her. She didn't actually see it, but she's saying, like, I know it. So then she says again she feels like her situation with Candy is being manipulated to make it look like she's, like, imagining things. I think he might be. Yeah. So Ricky is still insisting that Candy was not in the room. And he does apologize for saying that she was making things up. And he apologizes over and over and over again. He wants this thing to be done. So Ricky squashes it. He's like, I'm not doing this right now. They do hug, but, you know, Tamar continued to talk crap later. You are making this so much harder for yourself than it needs to be. I love watching Tamar from what I've seen so far. She's very entertaining, but she is ready to implode her game. I'm afraid to say she's blowing it. Okay, so later, Tom gave a really fun tour of the house. If you want to see it, flashback to, I want to say 11:48 p.m. for the start. I think it was cameras 1 and 2. And he just had a really good time by himself. I've noticed he likes to stay up late and then get up early when, like, nobody else is really up. And that's when he does his kind of, like, weird stuff. And then when everybody else is around, he's trying to do, like, normal things so he doesn't freak anyone out. So this morning he was also up early and that was when he was doing his goofy stuff. He went up to the HOH room. There was nobody in there because, like I mentioned yesterday, Ryan is sleeping downstairs so that everybody can, you know, hang out in the HOH room whenever. So there's this trunk in the HOH room that has all these like costumes in it and stuff because it's supposed to be like a dressing room theme. So he was putting some of those on. He was playing the keyboard, writing a little song. And then he had a little talk show game chat with Kato up in the HOH room. And it was interesting. I like the way that these two are thinking. I really like what they have going with Ricky, Lolo, and Natalie. They feel solid with them. They think that they're going to follow through and vote out Jonathan this week. And they're thinking the vote should be 5-2 for Jonathan to go. The two being Tamar and Dina. And they're both planning on voting for Candy to go. So moving forward, they're thinking they should just let Ricky run the group for now because they feel like he likes to be in charge of things. They can just sit back, let it happen. Tom is planning on making more soup. Again, doing normal things. And then they're like, all right, well, how else can we set ourselves up here? So they're thinking about potentially making a deal with Candy this week because they are playing a part in saving her. She doesn't know that they were planning on saving her this whole time anyway, so they could be like, hey, you were in trouble, but we're here to save you. You know, can you guarantee us some safety for next week? They're also thinking about maybe making a side alliance with Dina because she's not on anyone's radar right now, and they feel like she could be a dark horse and be around for a while, so they want to maybe get something going with her. Okay. So other than that today, Jonathan seems to think that he's safe. I mean, Dina and Tamar both confirmed to him that they're voting Candy out, so that's 2. You need 4 votes to stay, right? I guess, I don't know, it depends too because there's 3 people up on the block, so it's not exactly like that, but whatever. He feels like he's got him. He's assuming that Lolo and Natalie are also voting, I keep wanting to say Dina, but it's Candy. Candy's up on the block. He's assuming they're both going to be voting Candy out as well, and he thinks that Ricky is going to take that deal. So he feels like he's good to go as long as it's just one person getting evicted, but like, he's in trouble. So it'll be interesting to see the rest of the day if he's going to campaign at all. If I had to guess, I would say he'll probably, you know, just make sure that all of his votes are good. Joey, I do not see campaigning because he doesn't give a crap. And, but you never know. And Candy, I just don't know if she realizes, like, she's supposed to be campaigning. I don't know. But who knows? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. And until tomorrow, much love.